morning everybody. My name is ARAVIND Kumar. My registration number is MA20476. My topic is study on credit appraisal of SMEs in Tamil Nadu State Apex Cooperative Bank under the guidance of Mr. APPRAISAL, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies. The objectives of my study are primary objective is to study on credit appraisal of SMEs in TNSE Bank, and my secondary objectives are to study the liquidity of SMEs, to know the profitability portion of SMEs, to study the solvency portion of the company, and to compare the performance of the company. Scope of the study: to know about the SME loan facility, to know about the credit appraisal methods of SMEs, to know the short-term and long-term solvency of SMEs, to know the profitability of SMEs. Gaining practical knowledge about the study, and current ratios can be used to study the short-term financial portion of SMEs. Need for my study is SME sector is an important pillar of Indian economy. SMEs play an important role in overall industrial growth. Promotes rural and provides employment opportunities. Loan to SMEs to meet their credit requirements. Limitation of the study. The study is limited to 5 years from 2009 to 13. The project training duration period permitted by the bankers was limited to 60 days. This study related to single branch, it is limited to get information within the branch. Research methodology. The type of research which I use for my project is analytical research. Data collection. Data collection is like primary data and secondary data. Tools used in the research or ratio analysis, comparative balance sheet, and comparative income statements. Summary of my findings are the major findings of the study were calculation of ratio analysis, calculation of comparative balance sheet analysis for 4 years, which includes the financial years 2010 to 13. The percentage of current ratio of the company from 2010 to 13 in the current ratio are compared with micro companies among PP Trust Company B. Current ratio was higher percentage. The percentage of current ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the current ratio are compared with small companies among KB Silks and Sarees. Current ratio was at higher percentage. The current ratio of the companies from 2010 to 13 in current ratio are compared with medium companies among that Rosen Automobiles. Current ratio was at higher percentage. The percentage of debt equity ratio of the companies from 2010 to 13 in the current ratio are compared with micro companies. Among the PP Trust, debt equity ratio was a higher percentage. The percentage of debt equity ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the current ratio are compared with small companies among that Centering Works Company G, debt equity ratio was a higher percentage. The percentage of debt equity ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the current ratio are compared with medium companies among that Durai and Company debt equity ratio was a high percentage. The percentage of net profit of the companies from 2010 to 13 in the net profit ratio are compared with micro companies among that PP Trust net profit ratio was at high percentage. The percentage of net profit of companies from 2010 to 13 in the net profit ratio are compared with medium companies among that Samraj and Company net profit ratio was at high percentage. The percentage of operating ratio of the companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with micro companies among that Anna Educational Trust operating ratio was a high percentage. The percentage of operating ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with small companies among that Centering Works Company G operating ratio was a high percentage. The percentage of operating ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with medium companies among the GGK Private Limited Companies operating ratio was a high percentage. The percentage of operating profit ratio of the companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with micro companies among that Anna Educational Trust Company A operating ratio was a high percentage. The percentage of operating ratio of the companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with the small companies among that Mahalakshmi Ready-Mades Company F operating ratio was high percentage. The percentage of operating ratio of companies from 2010 to 13 in the operating ratio are compared with companies among that Samraj and Company K operating ratio was a high percentage. Comparative balance sheet are compared with micro companies among that Ben Foundation Company E was a high percentage. The comparative income statement shows that Ben Foundation Company E was a high percentage. The Comparative balance statement or compared with small companies among the universal companies, company I was higher percentage. The comparative income statement shows that universal computers company E was higher percentage. The comparative balance statement or compared with the medium companies among the Durayan company, company L was higher percentage. The comparative income statement shows that Durayan company L was higher percentage. Suggestion and recommendations. With respect to study made on credit appraisal of a small and medium enterprise with reference to TNSE Bank, among the micro, small and medium companies, there was each one of the company's current ratio was higher percentage, and the rest of the companies has to keep an eye on their current assets flow. The companies have been suggested to reduce expenditure as it increased every year. Decrease in expenses will increase the profitability. The net profit shows both the increase and decrease trend. So the company should consider increase the sales in turn to increase actual profit. The debt equity ratio of the company is also increasing. The company should focus on debt and long-term funds which are utilized in the company. Conclusion of my study. In the study of credit appraisal of small and medium enterprise with reference to TNSE Bank, Chennai, it is clear that to improve flow of credit to SME sector, the comparative income statement shows increase in the current year of net profit, and in the deficit the company's current profit position. To improve the efficiency of the companies will strive for better performance, and bank will help to companies to get credit facilities, and bank gives guideline and training to improve operational performance of the companies. The suggestion provided through the study will help the companies to improve the operational performance efficiently. Thank you.